Hello, it's Ewa here, and you're welcome to my space, to my cubicle, to my corner. Today, without wasting much time, because what I'm about to talk about is not something that is funny. It's not something that is talked about while being happy, or it's politics, and politics is serious business. So today I want to talk about democracy and the tenets of democracy and the tenets of democracy. Now, what is bringing about it? What is bringing about it is because our country, Nigeria, practices democracy, all right? And as the 2023 elections, draw near, most argument and a lot of arguments and counter arguments are pervading in the political space as regards zoning. This video is particularly about zoning. All right. Now, in the argument for zoning, a lot of people have said, posited that one, it's unconstitutional, and two, that it is not a tenet of democracy, that zoning is not a tenet of democracy. That where is zoning in democracy? Is America zoning? Is Britain zoning? Is wherever they like to mention. Britain is a parliamentary system. Like most democratic states, they will ask if they are zoning, all right, and that zoning is not a democratic. It is not one of the tenets of democracy. Now, the question will be, what necessary? Of course, I know most of us know why the arguments for zoning is pervading in the political space, and of course we know that since the return of democracy in 1999, due to the loss or due to the annulment of the 1993 election, which the Nigerian state has accepted through President Muhammad Buhari, has accepted that yes, Abiola won the elections. Everybody, it was announced by the then electoral body that Abiola won the election, but then the military government led by IBB annulled the election for whatever reasons that is best known to him. Now, the southwest region of the country, the ones on demonstrations, they threatened to break away from the country. A lot started happening in the region, which led to OPC and a whole lot of other dissident groups. Now, to assuage this genuine agitation, all right, to assuage it, in 1999, when democracy returned, the political stakeholders from north to south, from west to east, agreed that it was necessary and imperative that the loss of Abiola, that Abiola was not sworn in after he won the election of 1993, that it should, that reparation need to be made to the people of Southwest to atone for Abiola's loss, because apart from losing the election, one way or the other, Abiola also lost his life. And that every constituent of Nigeria recognized that Southwest agitation was genuine, all right, and that was how the PDP, newly formed PDP then. I don't want to bore you. Because I don't want to make this video longer, all right. I don't want it to be unnecessarily long. The PDP then was formed by the G18, by the G7, and I think later G18. I don't know the number, or G37. I don't understand. I'm not really certain of the numbers, alright. But G something. Now, first, when it was G7, from G7 to G18 to G37, wherever the number got to, it was led by then the former vice president of Nigeria, that's this man that has died. That's Alexander Ekweme, right? Now he was the one that started the process of the formation of PDP. He invested everything, his time, his resources, his intellectuality to see to the forming of PDP, and it was taken for granted that he was going to be the flag bearer of PDP. All right. But now, when both the ex-generals, the serving generals, other political stakeholders, civilian political stakeholders agreed that there was need to assuage the Southwest agitation, people aligned, forces aligned to deliver Obasanjo, who was just released from prison not quite long ago, prior to 1999 PDP primaries, or 1998 PDP primaries. Now, this Obasanjo was just released from prison, and the forces aligned to deliver him as the PDP flag bearer, right? But ordinarily, this was something that was taken for granted that it was going to be for Alexei Kwame, who is, of course, obviously from Southeast. Now, also similarly, the ANPP, then APP, All People's Party, and the APP had produced Ogbonnayon as its flag bearer, while AD produced the former SGF of Nigeria, that's Olufalaye, as its flag bearer. Now, that is in furtherance to that agreement that the Southwest needs to be assuaged. All right. Now, what is his name? Ogbonnayon, the party APP as a party and AD went into an alliance to challenge PDP, which they saw was a bigger force with a bigger outreach and tentacles. So to defeat PDP, they got into an alliance, and Ogbonnayon had to step down in the spirit of that agreement, or that convention, that the PDP, that the Southwest needed to be assuaged for Abiola's loss. All right, and that was how the 1999 election was a two-horse race between Olusegun Obasanjo and Olufalaye. Of course, we know how it turned out. Obasanjo won. At the conclusion of Obasanjo's tenure in 2007, of course, it was obviously time for the North. Other southern, so many southern governors then, including the former governor of Rivers State, Peter Odele. Peter Odele was a very big force in the presidential in the run-on to the presidential election of 2007, and so many other governors declared their intention. Southern governors now declared the intention to run. They were of the argument that the North has been in power for a long time, and it doesn't matter that Obasanjo, who is a Southerner, hands over to another Southerner. After all, the North has been there for a long time. But in the spirit of national cohesion, the spirit of national unity, Obasanjo was of the thinking, and of course most other stakeholders, mostly northern stakeholders, was of thinking that, okay, now the South is done with its 8 years, which is constitutionally allowed. Now it's time for the North to take its turn, and that's how Obasanjo supported President Yar'Adua to become the president. We know all this. I don't want to bore you. So Yar'Adua won with a good luck Jonathan, and later on Yar'Adua died and Jonathan took over, and that sort of distorted the zoning arrangement, the smooth running of that zoning arrangement, because the North were, of course, it was an act of God that Yar'Adua died and Jonathan took over. So but they were of the argument that Jonathan, after serving out that tenure, that is in 2000, Jonathan took over in 2010. It was to serve. They were of the argument that he should serve to 2011 and leave power for another Northerner to succeed them and serve out what was remaining of Yar'Adua's tenure. But of course, power is sweet, kind of. So Jonathan ran again in 2011 and won the election. Conclusively won the election. Massively. And then in 2011, I ruled till 2015, when the northern agitation for power became more obvious and pronounced. They were of the argument that they've been such changed, because Yaradua, who was supposed to take their turn, was there for just 2 years before giving up, before dying in office, and Jonathan has been, was taking their turn, and they've been out of power for a long time, and they wouldn't take it. That was how almost all northern forces aligned to deliver Buhari in 2015, when Buhari went into alliance with Tinubu. All right, okay, so, and that was it. So of course Jonathan was from south, so he ruled for 6 years. Before then, Obasanjo, who is from southwest, had ruled for 8 years, and now Buhari, who is from north, is ruling again. And in 2023, the argument that he should come back to the north, he should come back to the south. All right, so now coming back to the south, it's only one region that is left, and that's the southeast. Now a lot of arguments is now flying around why the southeast should not be zoned to the southeast, or why what was done for the southwest in 1999 should not be done for the southeast in 2023. And the argument is because why most of us are making this argument is because a lot of agitation is going on in the southeast, and these agitations are genuine agitations when you look at the point of the argument that is being proffered, why this agitation is going on, marginalization, whether real or imagined, the thinking that the southeast has been relegated from out systematically, consciously relegated from power through act of state, perceived act of state, actions, that the southeast should be relegated from power, a kind of. All right, now, and that is what has brought these agitations. I don't want to talk about how some opportunities are denied the Igbos, or however it's being seen. All right, understand? So because most of these things, of course, except you have the facts. So, but these agitations are genuine. What we disagree with, what we might disagree with, is the extent to which these agitations is now going, and the dimensions that are now taking. The fact that it has from there's now non-government, there's ESN, a lot of criminal elements that is not taking advantage of the agitations to also perpetrate their own acts. So the violence, the killing, the maiming, burning of state parastatals, INEC offices, and police stations, and all that is condemnable, highly condemnable, and should not be an option, understood? Alright, but what gave rise to all this in the first place? Because these people, the people of the south, started feeling disenchanted. Now, how do you reintegrate this group? It's not through argument. You demonstrate. The best way to win an argument is not through further argument. Demonstrate. You demonstrate to the people of the southeast that you feel that and that they are part of Nigeria. It's not through arguing with them that they are part of Nigeria. You don't try to illustrate, you don't try to expatiate, you don't try to elucidate why the southeast is part of Nigeria. Demonstrate to the southeast that are part of Nigeria, and that's where comes the zoning. A lot of people have argued that the southeast is saying it should be zoned to them. Is zoning a tenet of democracy? Where is zoning a democracy? Zoning is not in the constitution. But we're talking of national cohesion, the survival. This is it. It is self-preservation. This Nigeria, for instance, if we were to personify Nigeria as a person, Nigeria as an entity, Nigeria as an existence, Nigeria as a thing of existence, or as a being, for instance, needs to to exist needs to self-preserve, and the instinct of self-preservation, the argument for self-preservation supersedes every other argument, and that is why there is the provision for self-defense in the case of murder. Because when you feel threatened to your life, every law ceases to exist. The law of murder, the law of whatever, will cease to operate, because you need to defend yourself. And that is why when somebody commits murder in court, if it is validly argued and with evidence proven that somebody committed murder through self-defense, or in the process of self-defense, the person is going to walk away free. Because you cannot expect me, while I'm about to die, you expect me to be remembering constitution, how I should not kill and all those things. No, I need to preserve myself. I need to protect my life. So this is now, for Nigeria, this is no longer about laws and constitutions and statutes. All right, it's now about self-preservation. Nigeria needs to preserve itself. All right, and if for Nigeria to preserve itself, every law should cease to exist for preservation, for Nigeria's life preservation to happen. Alright, so the argument, the Nigeria's self-preservation supersedes the argument, supersedes the constitution. That is it. Because the preservation of my life supersedes the constitution. It's the natural law. The Nigerian constitution is a man-made law, and and it is in the constitution of Nigeria that is captured. Thou shalt not commit murder. Do not commit murder, or you'll be sentenced to life imprisonment, an eye for an eye. All right, but then the law of self-preservation is the natural law which supersedes all human law. Now it is now a natural law for Nigeria to preserve itself if it's interested. If Nigeria is interested, if the handlers of Nigeria, if the owners and the directors of Nigeria are interested in the self-preservation of Nigeria, in the preservation of Nigeria, now every man-made law should cease to exist for a natural law to take precedence, and that is that Nigeria needs to preserve itself. And to preserve itself, we should not be talking about what is in the constitution, but how will Nigeria preserve itself and prevent disintegration. There is enormous potential for this country united than be going separate ways. Now that comes when I've profiled this argument to tell you why talking about constitution is useless, is stupid, and is a product of lack of critical thinking and illiteracy or half education, if I want to put it mildly. Now, talking about the zoning, if zoning is a tenet of democracy, and I question you, are tenets of democracy cast in stone? Are tenets of democracy cast in stone? That the tenets of democracy, let's make this out. Okay, so there's going to be a part 2 to make sure that this doesn't get longer than this. Let me cut it here and then we'll start again.